Okay, for the next video in the series here on how to get your 4Smartphone account completely set up and configured, we're going to be focusing on step 1 here, the primary setup. If you have your own domain, which is kind of the basic assumption, I think the majority of people who use the 4Smartphone service do have their own domain for their company or their own domain just for themselves, and that's what they want to use with our service. That's what this first step is for you to add that domain to our servers, and then you will change and point the MX records for your domain to the 4Smartphone servers so that mail will flow directly to, and then we become your primary mail server. It's important to note here that if you do not own your domain, if it's a company domain and there are other users of the company that will not be on 4Smartphone, you will not want to add your domain here. This is not the place to do that. We can add email addresses directly to the mailboxes for a domain that you're using with our service that you're not pointing to our service. You're just going to forward mail to your mailbox, and we'll cover that in later steps. So for now, let's talk specifically about if you're bringing your domain with you, because if it's a Hotmail or Gmail or a company domain, do not enter it in here unless you are the company owner and you're moving all the users that are going to be using this service to 4Smartphone all at the same time. For other questions about that, if you're going to move only part of the users at a time and then move the rest of the users later, there are ways that you would do this by adding the domain here, but you'll want to consult with support and VIP services on how to do that properly. So let's say you have your own domain. You're going to click in here on Manage Domains, and this is going to take you to the place where you can add your domain name. So you'll see right above where I'm typing, you'll see that there is instructions on how you need to set your MX records. And like we showed you earlier in the previous video, that these settings are also located in the advanced settings part of your Get Started menu area. So there are also more instructions here on how to point those to the service. But then basically you'll add the custom domain here, whatever your domain is. Maybe it's yourname.com or you know, whatever your business is, and you're bringing it, want to use our service as your primary, then you'll add it here, change the MX records to point here, and then you'll be set once you have mailboxes configured. So you can see that it adds the domain in the list, and let's talk briefly about what this is. This is a subdomain of serverdata.net, which is our domain name that we use for the service. And this exists here. Do not delete this, because this is an important part. This is your account username .serverdata.net, and it's important to have this on every mailbox because we use it for forwarding mail or other functions that are behind the scenes. This doesn't have to be the email that you use. As a matter of fact, we recommend that you don't use this, though it will work if you use this as your email address domain. And basically though, once you've added your domain, if this is the primary domain you want to use for your account, you'll want to click Make It the Default and Save Changes. And this will make sure that every email box that you add in the next step is going to be the primary reply address. So we're going to set this mycustomdomain.com as the reply as address, and that's going to make it the from in every email that you send or each time you reply. So this becomes the primary domain. And yes, it is possible to add multiple domains. So if you have a company with some users and some use this particular domain and some use that, and you own all those, you can add them all here and then divvy those up among your users or have them all use all domains. That's all perfectly customizable and usable in this area. So now you can see we have our custom domain. So we're going to step back out here, and I have a few seconds left. I'm just going to talk about, actually we're going to use another video. The next video will be about managing users. So stay tuned for that, and we'll talk about how we add users to your account.